can see, we're knee deep in it. This is the cal-trac bushing. It's a little hot because I've been warming this up to try to get it out. Sacrificed a socket, which it may survive. But basically, first leaf is out. As you can tell, this thing has seen better days. We're gonna change that piece out. It's got two different size U-bolts on it, which is wonderful. So we're gonna order new ones of those. What else? This is the cal-trac bar. These Heim joints are locked up. I'm gonna see if I can free them, and if not, we'll get some ordered and get them replaced so that everything's nice and free moving. Yeah, that spring is the original one to the truck, 260,000 miles, that has had the overload removed off of it, and then these open, which you don't want them open in the front, but I'm sure it was to pull a spring out. So that's pushed out. We're doing this one side at a time, so there's not a million parts laying everywhere. Time to pull one of those bad boys out and see how much different the arch is, because I got a feeling this thing's de-arched a lot, so we'll see. All right, thought the old spring would be de-arched a lot. It's actually not. One curious thing is the old spring is actually shorter than the new spring, so when installing the new spring, if the points push them closer together, that'll have more of an arch. But anyways, so I've got to order some parts for this as well. These clamps, I like them, but they don't actually squeeze together. So I'm going to order two. So if we make this the front, we'll have a clamp here and a clamp here. And I don't know if I'm going to take that one off or not in the back, because it looks like it's not so much to clamp them together, just hold them in line. Now this right here, yeah, it's a little marked up, is the cal-trac bushing that slides in where this bushing is, and then there's this other dirty bushing that rides in it. So we're going to get ready and do that. As you can see, this thing's seen better days, so we'll sand her off there. But that's the game plan. Get that bushing out, get this pushed in. We're going to order new U-bolts. Pretty much need to make a big list and just order all new hardware for this stuff and do this right at one time. That is the old shackle that needs to come off, but we're not reusing it again. I'll compare the two that we're using to get more height. So hopefully this will help our stance issue from side to side being off an inch, but we'll see. All the rear end parts should be here late on Saturday night, so we're on a standstill for that. And I'm thinking it's time to change up the truck a little bit. It's been multicolored for a long time, as you can see from the pictures up there. And obviously I can't match this faded red, but I've got free time, so I'm thinking about getting the fenders actually as red as I can get them and get this somewhat matched in so it's not so awkward, and kind of see how it looks. Now, I've picked up some nice paint, I've picked up some cheap paint, and these are our options. Nothing obviously is going to be perfect, especially since we've got fading and stuff like that. That looks the closest. Yeah, because these two are very similar. This is just a regular red. I think it's too bright. It's interesting how differently these show up on camera versus actual eyesight. So obviously it's going to be a little bit off, but with them being green and white, they're way off. So what I'm going to do is just try to do a quick and down home, like 2-hour paint job on the fenders. And then I covered the door with this primer just because I had some rust coming in. I don't like the way it looks, so I may just try to shoot over that, or maybe a situation where I get the fenders painted and get half of this painted and then come back and paint all of it. I've got plans for a complete, I won't call it paint job for the truck, but one solid color and it looking better. But that's going to be a little ways away because we got some body work to do. So I'm just trying to make this a little bit nicer until then. But not going to be really on a how-to to paint the truck because it's just going to be down and dirty. All right, we're masked off as good as I'm going to mask off. I don't think we're gonna have a huge problem with overspray in the garage, not a lot of wind, and this stuff is low enough quality we can get some acetone. So just hit this with some 1000 grit to take the gloss, to give it some shine. I was just gonna put the straight paint right on it, but in hindsight, I need to at least take the effort to do that part right and put some primer. This is actually Rust-Oleum primer. It works really well, goes down flat. So I'm just gonna fog it with that, let it sit up, and then put the paint over it. Got a little bit on the garage floor, so it's not as much overspray, but so basically we'll go black and let that set and then do red. A lot more masking than I thought there would be, so I'm debating on doing the other fender tonight or wait till tomorrow, but we're gonna keep going on. Okay, so good news, bad news. Bad news is we got our U-bolts in, and they are not the right ones. The seller on Amazon did us dirty. Instead of it being a 9/16, it's actually a 1/2 inch. Instead of it being zinc plated, it's just the regular like factory style ones that rust within a year. So what that has given me more time to do is, as you can see, we're getting into painting. Things have escalated. So let me show you how things are turning out. So green fender, everything's masked off, ready to go. It's been sanded down, and green fender here, really red hood, and what was a white fender over here. I tried to match this the best I can. You can't really match to something that's faded and worn out, but this turned out very nice. Now it is matte, there's no clear on it. I'm not gonna put any clear on it because this is only supposed to look better. Does it match the rest of the truck? Not really, but it's not bad. It's not far off, and it's much better than the white fender that was here. Really honestly surprised how well this turned out. I am terrible at painting, so cross the fingers, and when it rains it may all come off, but some friends getting on it in the neighborhood next door. It turned out really well. Turned out very, very well. So we're gonna do the green fender over there, put down 3 coats of primer, and then it's taking about 3 coats of this. The black primer underneath eats this stuff up, so you really have to put it on strong, but it is absorbing very nicely. I'm planning too on doing these black parts as well. I know that the match is gonna be terrible, but it's better than the black. That won't probably be right now, because I need to mask off a bunch more stuff, and honestly, this is running me a little ragged. But as you can see, that's how the truck looked before. White fender out, all of that, and it had a cool vibe to it, but I'm just ready for something different. I really do love this color. This kind of reminds me of the cherry red, dark cherry red that was on like the 96 Impala SS's. So if we paint the truck one day, or if I decide to rattle can the whole thing and get real brave, this is probably the color we're gonna use. Now, we're gonna get the 2 fenders. That's the goal, to get them more matched. The next part is probably gonna be the grill. As far as the hood goes, I am going to order another hood here soon, a fiberglass one, to drop some weight off, because this is a heavy guy. So I don't think I'm gonna bother painting that, but I would also like to make the roof flat black. So flat black hood, flat black roof, flat black, all that stuff already, and then we'll have kind of a maroon. And the only other thing that really leads me to have to do is the roll pan being black. So that'll be something else that I'll do another time, but we're gonna order our U-bolts. So unfortunately this mess is gonna stay out here. I should have ordered them through Summit to begin with, but what are you gonna do? And the rest of the parts for the shackle, not the shackles, for the spring clamps aren't gonna show up today like they're supposed to, so just gonna have to be patient with this one. All right, first coat of the black primer's down. I miss a spot. Yeah, I need to hit a spot right there. Just a very light coat. This stuff is the Rust-Oleum like rust transformer oxidizer that you can paint on. Works out great, goes down really easy. So probably give that about 15 minutes with how much humidity we've got today, and then hit with another coat. All right, this fender's finished. The other one is done. They look awesome. I just wiped them both down. So now we are ready for the clear coat. I am not sure if this is the clear I need, but all the ones everyone was recommending on YouTube videos always had the little striker in the top and was a better style clear. So this stuff's like 30 bucks, where the perfect match stuff that goes with this is like 10, and everyone said that it's junk, and that's also the one I had issues when I was painting my Buick. So we're gonna give this stuff a try. Basically take the little top off, push in the bottom, mix really well. I'm having to get the clear coat on tonight. I can't wait any longer. Reason is it's still fairly warm at like 60 degrees in the shop, but that's not gonna be the case for much longer. We've got a cold front coming in, so I wanna get 3 clear coats on this tonight, and then I'll call it good. It is what it is after that point. And as you can see, the rear end's still not done. I've got to get bolts, one more set of bolts. Parts came in, got everything fitted back up, and some bolts are not quite as long as I'd like them to be. So let's get this paint finished up real quick. Okay, clear coat is done. For rattle can, did not turn out bad. You can see how good the reflection is. Not bad at all. I've got a run here. I'm gonna have to sand down. It does have orange peel. Some of that's the metallic in the paint, but it has orange peel, so it will need to be sanded. Kind of out of time. I need this out. It looks tons better than the truck did with the 2 different color fenders. So it will be sanded, but that will be for another day. I need to get the right sandpaper and get the polishing compound for it. Yeah, that's our little, where's it at? There's our little run. You can kind of tell. There we go. A little bit of a run, but not bad. Both sides look really good. Super excited to get all this masking off of it and get it out in the sun and see what it looks like. Now, there is some imperfections in the fender. I did not use a primer that's what's called a filler primer. This was supposed to be just down and dirty, and turned out better than I expected. But yeah, you can see the orange peel really bad on this side. I think some of the orange peel, honestly, is because the temperature changed from like 60 to 30. And that's also why I let this cure like 2 days before I'm taking off the masking stuff. But I am extremely excited with how it turned out. I'm ready to get this shop out of the truck. Still working on this stuff, which is driving me nuts because all the bolts tend to be just a little too short, but we'll get there. This side's done, finally. Mismatch of parts. It's actually hard to get the bolts that I needed for this thing, and it was a pain. So as you can see, cal-tracs are all up. We got the 2 clamps here to stiffen up the front. I think that's gonna help a lot right here, because when you do the cal-tracs and put the tension on it, I think that's gonna help keep those 2 together to give it a little bit more bracing. A 1-inch lowering shackle, which is actually the factory one, is back in the back. If you're wondering what the license plates are, that's where my cutoff switch is, and that's so that you don't fling a bunch of stuff up on them. So we are on to the next side. I had to use the centering pins out of the old Leafs because the new ones just wouldn't fit, even though they're the smallest bolts I can find. And you can see the mess. So we're gonna try to get this other side done so that we can go to a car show today. As you can see, guys, we are finally out of the shop. Oh, I'm so happy to get this thing out and done. A little overspraying the fender wells, but we're about to clean those and paint those black. The paint didn't turn out bad at all. Now, it already needs to be clean. I had to grind a bunch of stuff off after the paint dried, so it's got stuff on it. Take your hand, wipe it, and you just get a hot mess of stuff. So it turned out really good. A little more pinkish than I liked, but I'm kind of digging it. I'm going to see how it does. I'm going to wash it, drive it around, see if it grows on me. 10 times better, you know, from the white fender. So compare this to that, I mean, 100 times better. The rear leafs in the back, everything feels much better back there. As you can see, we've got our leaf spring clamps. We were off side to side by 1 inch. After leaf spring, we're only 1/2 inch. But I think what's happening too is I had a fuel tank here, so my weight, the fuel tank, I run a 1-inch spacer on this side, which gives you 2 inches, and it leveled out the truck side to side a little bit. This was like a 1/2 inch higher, maybe. But now that the tank's gone, which was a lot of weight, I think that this side just sits too high, and it's basically twisting and loading that over there too much. So I think it's time to get the front suspension down just a little bit. But yeah, super excited with the paint. Obviously, here very soon, maybe this week, we're gonna do this grill and paint it the same because it sticks out. Not as bad as before, but it definitely sticks out. But the other side did too. So happy to have it. About to take it for a cruise. Long story short though, we're going to get the stuff to sand out the orange peel in this, gloss it up, see how it looks, and if we like it. And then also do these two pieces right here. And I'm just going to drive it, one, see if I like the color, and see if this paint holds up. Because if I do all this work and this paint scratches so easy or fades so easy in like a month, then what's the point? And I'll go my original direction, which was going to be a Plastidip kit on this. But yeah, happy with it so far. We're going to take it for a spin.